This is the city or the state of Hamburg. Makulimlim ang panahon.
So it's also interesting to note, you're going to see it tomorrow when we drive to Berlin. We're only about 50 kilometres or a bit over 30 miles away from the former inner German border. So when Germany became a divided nation, the inner border was not very far from here. It had a really big impact on the operations of the port because it meant a lot of the hinterlands which goods used to be delivered to were no longer available. It wasn't now possible just to drive into the eastern part of Germany. So it really affected the port. But since German reunification some 35 years ago, the port has gone from strength to strength in being able to now service these areas of the country that are opened up once again. So you do see a lot of trucks driving out of Hamburg with shipping containers on the back of them. They're being taken away to various places. They'll also get put onto trains that come out of Hamburg, but also you'll see when we're down at the port, they go onto smaller ships which may take them a little further afield into ports in other northern European cities in particular that can't handle the large ocean-going vessels that we'll see this afternoon. So that's an important part of the logistics operations that come out of Hamburg. As we start to drive in, we'll start to see a few taller buildings, and sometimes if you look at the businesses you can see that they're related to maritime activities. So quite a few of them are related to shipping insurance or reinsurance or shipping logistics. So it's still a big business in the back end, I suppose, but the port itself is very automated these days and doesn't actually employ that many people. So just now you can start to see some of the canals that are very common throughout the city of Hamburg. They're drifting in, not drifting in and out, but they're sort of in between lots of different buildings. There's dozens, hundreds of bridges really that cross over the bits of the canal here and there. So it's a very important part of the city's character. The city has a vast public transport system as well. We have what we call a U-Bahn, which is basically a subway system. Lots of buses and also a system of longer distance trains. So the three things together create a very easy way for people to get around. But when we get down to the harbour later, you'll also see that they have ferries down there as well, which can be used by commuters to get from one side of the river to the other. There is also a tunnel that goes underneath the Elbe River. We'll see evidence of that when we get down to the port. The way it's very obvious when we're on the water, you'll see signs with a picture of an anchor with a red line through them. And that's telling boats they're not allowed to drop anchor, and the reason being, because you're above the tunnel. If you dropped an anchor, you could puncture the tunnel, which obviously would not be very good at all. So that's something that's a little unusual for a waterway that is used by such large ships. just as we come out of the tunnel here, right in front of us, there's a spire of a church. Well, there's actually two. The one on the left, first of all, that we saw initially, it sits right on the edge of this so-called harbour city. So you see all these old warehouse buildings out here to the left-hand side. Historically, they would have been used for storing goods, but these days they've turned over to all those diverse businesses that I mentioned, things like music studios or event spaces or exhibition spaces, or office and apartment buildings in some places, and even hotels, all sorts of different things there. And then directly ahead of us is a very famous spire. This is the Nikolai Kirche. This church was almost completely destroyed during that bombing raid in World War II, but the spire miraculously survived, and then a little bit of the back end of the church as well. So they decided to leave it as a memorial site because it was a real testament to the destructive power of war. So it actually is possible to ascend the spire. There's an elevator that goes up. For a long time in recent years, the spire had become quite unstable, so you weren't able to go up there for quite a while, but it has subsequently been stabilised, I suppose would be the right word, and now it is very much possible to ascend that again. And it isn't that far from where we're going to get off the coach. Where we're going to get off is just up ahead a wee bit here. Another one of the famous churches in front of us here. This is the St. Paul St. Peter Church, and then there's another one just up there to the right hand side as well. So you can see no shortage of churches in the central part of Hamburg, all with rather dramatic spires. You see that they are much higher than the surrounding buildings, which is why they are such a landmark of the city. So we're very much in the centre of the city now. We're going to just make our way around, I should say, to our drop-off point, and then that's going to be the same spot where we're going to pick up at 3:45. So we'll just make a note of where we stop. It is easy to find again, fear not. I'll give you a bit of orientation clues once we get off. So when we do get off now, you won't see the coach again till 3:45. So right now it's not raining, which is fabulous, but we've seen the way the weather's changeable, so it's still